So, we are live on YouTube for Joseph's how to get 10 listings in 90 days. Just in case anybody is, we are talking, but I'm on the internet. Just in case anybody is here, Joseph is running a smidge late, he was in Somerset today. For a little team meeting and training down there, he's just running a bit behind today, so I am killing some time for him. So, we're gonna play some, well. I was gonna do Harry Potter trivia, I guess the question is, should we do MREA trivia instead, since this is a real estate company, we are KW. Let's see what we can come up with, hold on. We are going to come up with some trivia. See what we can come up with. Okay, we're gonna just go with questions. I don't think, hold on, let's see if I can get the YouTube chat open and see if we've even got anybody on YouTube. Okay, we don't have anybody on YouTube, but people are gonna watch this recording, and I would rather them get some goodies out of it than not, so. We are gonna go with some MREA trivia. I will ask the question, I will give you the answers, I will ask the question again, I will give you the answers, and then we will talk about the answer. Okay, so. Question number 1. MREA Millionaire Real Estate Agent Trivia. If you want the MREA book, we do have copies of them in the MCA's office. You can pay for them, we can run your card, you can put them on your next office bill, or you can find it on Audible, Amazon, Spotify audiobooks, any of those places. Okay, question number 1. According to the MREA, what are the 3 L's that drive a real estate business? A, leads, listing, and leverage. B, listings, leverage, location. C, leads, leverage, loyalty. Or D, listing, location, loyalty. According to the MREA, what are the 3 L's that drive a real estate business? Leads, listing, and leverage. Listing, leverage, location. Leads, leverage, loyalty. Or listing, location, loyalty. We're gonna do this. The answer is leads, listing, and leverage. Question number 2. In the MREA, what is the recommended profit margin for a real estate business? 20%, 40%, 50%, or 30%? In the MREA, what is the recommended profit margin for a real estate business? 20%, 40%, 50%, or 30%? Is the answer. Here, so much fun, okay. Question number 3. What is the name of the MREA model that defines how to allocate income into 4 categories? The wealth plan, the budget model, the financial model, the growth model. Oh wait, that was the end, or the growth model. What is the name of the MREA model that defines how to allocate income into 4 categories? The wealth plan, the budget model, the financial model, or the growth model? The budget model. Question number 4. What is the ideal percentage of gross income MREA recommends in reinvesting into lead generation? 10%, 20%, 12%, or 15%? What is the ideal percentage the MREA? What is the ideal percentage of gross income MREA recommends reinvesting into lead generation? 10%, 20%, 12%, or 15%? Is the answer. According to the MREA, what is the recommended percentage of business that should come from your database? 30%, 50%, 60%, or 80%?
Do we have anybody on here?
50% is the answer. No, not right now. No,
Luke said he would be here.
you might be on the link too. I just have it up and it's on YouTube here.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
This class is all about listings. So I'm going to get my handout. out. I'm gonna go and make one copy of this and then I'll be right back. Here's this now. For today. Hey there, are you on the YouTube or the Zoom? Okay, I'm gonna have you just on speaker because, I want you to be able to. Yell at me or comment if you can, cause I'm gonna go through this. Are you in the office, you driving around with us? Okay, perfect. Perfect, alright, I'm gonna start running this and then if you've got any questions, just holler, okay? So you'll be able to see me on the TV, but I also want you to be able to ask questions if you have it, alright. Awesome. Alright, hopefully there's no lag time. Well, Scott, Misty, we are doing this class, we're doing 10 listings. Right? In 90 days. And the whole reason why I want to talk listings is because when it comes to the real estate business, as you both know, listings are what I would call gold. And listings are probable income. I need some new whiteboard. Listings are probable income. And the reason why we want probable income versus potential income is there's a little more security, right? So here's where we're gonna start with the math, because the math is in the math. If we are gonna get 10 listings in 90 days, how many is that a month? How many listings are we gonna try to get in a month? Basically three, we want to, we wanna get three. Three listings a month, right? That'll put us at 9, so we just gotta figure out how to add one here, or one here. Right? And that seems probably daunting. So we're gonna work the math backwards. Scott, we'll start with you. In your experience, when you think about listings. How often do you get a listing when you set a listing appointment? So what's your conversion ratio on getting a listing signed when you set a listing appointment?
Recently, 100%, I just haven't had enough listings.
All right, so Scott,
Haven't had enough appointments, I'm gonna say.
yeah, so if you get a listing appointment. You're going to get the listing agreement,
Yeah, let me say 50%.
all right? All right, what about you, Misty? I know you're kind of starting over in Kentucky, but when you used to take listings in Texas. And maybe it's true now, because I wanna say you came in with a listing. When you have a listing appointment, what's your conversion ratio on securing that listing agreement?
Almost been right close to 100%.
Okay.
Maybe 2 or 3, that's it.
Alright, so we're operating in a space. To where we're right at 100%. In our conversion ratio in this room around getting the listing appointment and landing the listing agreement. Right? And so we know our conversion ratio is really high, so let's just be conservative and do it at a 75% clip. Okay? Because we just want to build in some trial and error. And the reason why we need to work backwards is because if we want 10 listings. We know that we're gonna get the listings from the listing appointments. And so the focus on the listing appointment and driving whatever needs to happen in our business to get a listing, right? We need to do that because Misty and Scott, you guys are nailing it. If you get the listing appointment, you're gonna get that listing, so we're running off a pretty good ratio. And so if I were to break down just on the number. I need to have a listing appointment. Once a week. Right? And let's just say. You guys are operating in this great place of 100%. If you get the listing appointment, you're gonna get the listing agreement. So 1 week. The math works. And so. How many weeks are in 3 months? 12. If we have a listing appointment every week for the next 12 weeks, what are we gonna have? We're gonna have 10 or 12 listings. And the whole reason why, like, this action plan today. Like, Joseph, you're probably thinking, wow, what a revelation, you're really telling me something I didn't know already, right? Like, that's not what this is. But what I wanted to do with the math up front is explain the fact that. Your ability to go get one listing every week. Is purely down to your ability to set one listing appointment. That input equals the desired output. And so when we start thinking about, oh, I want to be a listing agent, or oh, I want to probably get 10 listings in 90 days. Here's what can happen. If you get 10 listings in 90 days, you're creating a pipeline and a timeline for yourself. Of a 30, 60, 90-day paycheck that extends out across 10 transactions over the next 6 months. Right? And so what we're doing with this initiative, what I will call a challenge, the 10 listings in 90 days, is a commitment to create a 6-month pipeline. Misty, do you want a 6-month pipeline where you feel good about your probable income over the next 6 months?
Absolutely.
Scott, what about you? And if I told you it was as simple, and again, real estate simple, it's not easy. If I told you it was as simple as getting one listing appointment a week because you guys are elite closers and operating at about 100%, then we either gotta fix our limiting belief, or we gotta fix our database / pipeline. Right, so let's just unpack right now, we're gonna unpack our mindset problem, and then we're gonna unpack our people problem. Because the only thing stopping you based on your conversion rate of hitting 10 listings in 90 days. Is whether or not you're gonna set a listing appointment. That's truly the only thing in your all's way. And again, you're either gonna have a mindset problem, limiting belief. Or you're going to have a people / database problem. So your pipeline's not big enough to get the amount of conversations or the potential listings. So what limiting beliefs do we have? Where's our mindset at? Let's just walk through that.
I mean, I have a limited belief in this because of the Moorhead market that I live in.
Okay.
It seems limited in, it's just limited in. I think it's limited in the opportunity for what I need because of the activity, just there's not a lot of turnover in real estate.
Right.
So I feel like that's something in my mind, and I accept the fact that I have to go outside of this market to be able to achieve the numbers I want to achieve.
Let me ask you this, Misty, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how many new listings hit the market in Moorhead? Every month?
I guess I need to go and check. I mean, it's minimal.
Sure.
Minimal.
I mean,
not even double digits.
So what are we thinking? 6, 7?
Like,
Okay.
right on top of the number just from my around 5 or 6.
Okay. All right, so
It's just pick that,
yeah.
Yeah, I can't pick that.
No, look. There are limiting beliefs. And then there are knowing the market numbers, knowing the market data, and knowing what's out there. Right? So based upon my area, the 30-mile radius in which I want to do business, what is the listing data? Right? You know what helps limiting beliefs? Being an expert on the numbers, knowing what's out there. So Missy, the truth is, hey, there's 6 homes on a busy month that hit the market in Moorhead. That will, number one, knowing that number will make you feel good about attaching some sort of goal to it.
Okay.
Right, so there's absolutely no reason, right, where Misty, you number one, you've got the skills, you've got the track record, you're really great relationally. Why can't you get at least one of those 5 or 6? So now it becomes more strategic from your location. So it's like, okay, for the next 3 months, if I'm Misty, I'm going to track the listing data, I'm going to track the days on market, I'm going to track what homes are priced at when they first hit the market. Then I'm going to follow up on those same listings, I'm going to have an Excel sheet or something on what they're actually selling for. So your mindset is going to be more, what numbers do I need to know in the Moorhead market to have an achievable goal just based on the law of averages, right? So if 6 homes are hitting the market every month in Moorhead, Misty, if you don't have this self-belief, please borrow mine. You can absolutely get 1 listing a month in Moorhead. If 6 hit the market, there's absolutely no reason why one of them can't be yours. Okay, so then you've got to think, all right, that's Moorhead. And what are the other counties close to you?
So Mount Sterling
Okay,
is a market that I want to heavily pursue in Winchester. Basically, everything between Moorhead
Okay, great, look, Winchester's probably got 25 to 30 homes in the market every month. Mount Sterling probably has the same amount, maybe a couple more. So your opportunity absolutely is in Morehead, right? Your goal there should be, how can I get one a month the next 3 months in Morehead?
Okay.
And then it's like, okay. How do I go get one in Winchester and 2 in Mount Sterling? And then all of a sudden you go from thinking. I don't have a listing opportunity where I'm at, to thinking, okay, based on the numbers in Morehead. This is my Morehead number, then I add in Mount Sterling. It's a better number than Morehead, then I add in Winchester, it's the same number as Morehead. Now you're right at 9, 10, 11, 12 listings in 90 days. So it's more to do with. When you have limiting beliefs, oftentimes those limiting beliefs are purely around. A vague concept of our market, and I don't, again, I don't want that to sound harsh, but what helps us is knowing the number. Because Missy, you probably feel a lot better. With okay, let me go try to get one in Morehead. Instead of let me go try to get 10 in Morehead. That just doesn't make sense. Like if the entire real estate market. And Morehead is only putting 6 homes a month on the market. Well, then it would be stupid. Based on the numbers for us to think, oh, Missy's gonna go get 10. But if we extend out our radius a little bit, if we want to strategically be in Mount Sterling. Then gosh, what if I can just pull in 1 or 2 of those listings every month when 40 are hitting the market every month? If I can drive 25 extra minutes, but pick up two more listing opportunities, then I don't know, it's probably worth your time, right?
Absolutely.
You used to drive around Texas, so yeah, so all of Austin, you could probably put Mount Sterling and Morehead into Austin,
For sure.
right? So based on just the travel's not gonna be the hurdle. So the hurdle in Morehead is just the reality of the real estate market. That's not a limiting belief, Misty. We know the number there, and so we will create a goal based on real data in Morehead. Then we're going to do the market research on Mount Sterling. How many listings hit the market every month in Mount Sterling? What is the average days on market? What's the average price? What are homes getting listed at, and ultimately what are they getting sold at? Right? And so when I think about what we've got going on in Morehead, Mount Sterling and Winchester, you do actually have a very real opportunity. If you wanted to get 10 listings in 90 days across those 3 areas. Now, are you probably going to have to be more intentional? Absolutely, right? But your limiting beliefs, I mean, we could just draw a red X through your limiting beliefs. By knowing the numbers, by knowing the market data. And so, and again, Missy, that's not a knock on you, not all of that information is up to date, not all of that information is readily available. And sometimes you have to lean on your peers to get a really good pulse. And the other piece is, and we'll talk about it as the second thing, is the pipeline and the people, right? The database. So what are some other limiting beliefs? Your limiting belief there, Misty, had more to do with just real opportunity based on numbers and data.
Analysis paralysis.
Okay, yeah,
Sometimes I feel that way.
Yeah.
I feel like that way. Maybe it's just because. I don't know, coming out of the winter months, I guess I just work a little bit, I don't know.
We-
An excuse.
well, let me ask you this, when you say analysis paralysis. What information is paralyzing or preventing you to move or to act?
that I need to put action into the idea of what I'm wanting to do, but feeling overwhelmed with the idea of trying to cover the 3 markets.
Okay.
It's not, I know realistically, that is not overwhelming, but in my brain, I feel like I almost get paralyzed in it, in that I know I need to get these numbers, get the data.
Yeah.
But I kind of put it off because of, I don't know.
It's a big checklist. The checklist is, the to-do list is overwhelming. And so sometimes when you've got that level of task or responsibility. It freezes us, right?
Yeah,
And I get that, and that's completely, by the way, normal and understandable. What you're describing to me, Misty, and I'm going to apologize, because I feel like I can really help here. What you need is a system of support and a system of accountability to where somebody is once a week or a couple times a week. At least, or at least twice a month, saying, hey, Misty. We talked about your listing goal. And we talked about getting the data for Moorhead, Winchester, and Mount Sterling. Do you need support or help in getting that information? And if the answer is yes, all right, how can I help? Is it me dropping into Flex and giving you the Winchester numbers? You'll work on the Moorhead numbers and then we'll pull together from Mount Sterling. Who is your system of accountability and support? Because what will keep you in overwhelm is not having an action plan to tackle that task list. Because what hurts every agent, new, dual career, or veteran, is when they get into an overwhelmed state. We've got 20 balls in the air, and then we're dropping 10 of them, right? And so for you, it's okay. For me to be intentional, to get past that analysis paralysis, I need somebody in my corner and in my ear at least once a week asking me, did I get the numbers? Do I have a plan? Have I had conversations? Or just do I have a person where I can ask questions on, hey, can you help me with this information that I need? So for you, what would really help your overwhelm is if you got a weekly report from somebody in your world, or found out the easiest way to go get all of that data you need quickly. So, I mean, Missy, let me be transparent. If I got you all of that information by the end of this week, would your overwhelm decrease?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say this. If you had the amount of listings that we're hitting in those markets every month, the days on market, what the average sales price was, would that help the overwhelm?
that would for sure.
Okay.
That is, learning how to navigate Flex.
Okay, and that was my follow-up question. Do you know how to navigate your systems of information and data to get that on your own?
I would say I'm at an elementary level. with
Okay.
that.
So let's just be honest, let's say no. And that's look, that's completely okay. So what you need help with to create a good action plan is to just know the data, know the numbers, because knowing the data, knowing the numbers, not only does it help remove those limiting beliefs, it also decreases the overwhelm that puts you in action, and it gives you the courage, the confidence, and makes you the market expert to go tackle whatever conversation with confidence to set a listing appointment in those markets. Right? So what you need help with on the overwhelm is just access to the information. And I can help with that. Okay, so limiting beliefs are, is there even enough business in Moorhead to hit 10 listings? Answer sounds like no. So then we get more strategic on, okay, we've expanded our radius. And we've identified 2 markets. By the way, I didn't put Mount Sterling and Winchester in your brain. That was already there. That was already a Misty strategy, right? So you've been thinking about it. It's clear that you've been thinking about it and you've got some sort of plan.
Yeah,
It's now, okay, who can support me in my plan? Who can help me in that right direction? All right. Any other limiting belief, Misty?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay. Alright, Scott, what about you? Anything different on the limiting belief side in terms of, is there even enough business out there? Or do I even have access to the data?
David, one issue, the social media is a part in there about marketing prep.
Okay,
And, I guess Facebook scares the heck out of me, so is
Okay.
Instagram.
limiting belief on social media as a
Generator.
lead generator?
I seem to goof it up a little bit when I do good, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it doesn't look perfect to me, so I know it doesn't look perfect to the people looking at it. So,
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. And this is going to also maybe feel harsh. Scott, you're Scott. The way you show up in a mirror, the way you show up right now, is exactly how you're gonna show up on camera. At some level, we have to accept who we are, what our voice sounds like on video.
Yeah.
And how we look. And sure, we can improve upon that, we can do certain things, but you are who you are. What works in social media is two things. Number one, you do it consistently. And number two, you're relatable. Right? Scott, I find you extremely relatable. Right? Whereas there's a lot that you and I have in common. We love sports, particularly baseball. We're in the real estate market. We've got military history in our family. There's a lot of conversational points that if you were to just pop on Facebook, post what you're doing in your life and in your world, there's going to be some overlap for me. I'm going to see Scott and I'm going to think, man, super relatable guy. He's gone to the UK baseball game. He's went to the Reds game. He had a closing. He just put a listing up. He's hanging out with his son who's in the military. I'm going to identify with those things. And what makes your social media strategy or any social media strategy important or a lead generator is those two things. Is that you do it consistently. You do it every day. And you do it with intention every day. And then number two, you're relatable. Everybody who is authentic, in my opinion, shows up on some form or fashion online in an authentic manner. I know some people who are wildly different than me. But if they show up on Facebook and they're their true selves, even if I don't identify with them on everything, I've got people in my world that do, or there might be one or two things a month where I resonate. The other thing is if I see them on my Facebook feed regularly, so let's just say twice, 3 times a week, they're going to have some level of mind share. And I'll just say this, I'm friends with 1,000 realtors on Facebook, probably. I see an insane amount of posts, but I see generally the same usual suspects. And you know what's common about the people posting consistently? Not all of it's real estate. In fact, more than half of it's not real estate. It's just things they're doing, activities they're in, things their kids are doing, things they're passionate about. Maybe they do mix in some real estate, and then the real estate is a mix of things. They're getting training, or they're at an awards, or they've had a closing, or something just hit the market. They are just documenting their life consistently. And here's the thing. And this is what we all, if we as an industry knew this in our hearts, as much as we maybe know it in our mind, social media, whether we like it or not, isn't for us. It's just not. Well, I mean, ideally in a perfect world, yeah, but it's really about what other people want to see, what they're going to consume, how they're going to relate. And it is maybe that a weird feeling about society, yeah. But I'm also going to tell you, we have people in our office, and I'm not even saying the ones who would come first to mind. We have people in our office picking up 1 or 2 deals every month off social media. And it's not the usual suspects you might imagine. But it is the person who is posting every day. And they're doing something very consistent. So social media definitely is a limiting belief. I didn't really have social media. I had actually deactivated my Facebook. I got rid of my Twitter. I only had Instagram and I didn't even have it on my phone when I got hired into real estate. And then I realized, okay, it's not really for me. And so I'm going to get on here and I'm going to use my social media as a vehicle to help others. For my family to see pictures of my kids.
Emotional, operational.
And then promote myself and my business, right? It's less about, oh, I'm gonna get on social media and I'm gonna get all this stuff from it. I have social media, so my relatives out of state can see my children grow up. I have social media so I can promote myself and my business. And I have social media. And really to help people, I'll post things on there that I think are right. Right? And then I'll go down that path, right? If you know social media is a tool to help you in your business and view it as, and don't view it as, oh, this is a burden on other people. Because that's really the crux of it. I don't want to become a burden online and spam people with with real estate stuff. Okay, well, if you don't want to do that, then don't do that. You don't have to. Most of the successful realtors that are pulling leads from their social media aren't spamming people with a bunch of real estate. They're just consistently posting things. And generally speaking, like I said, it's about 50-50 split on business and personal. So that's a real limiting belief. And the good news, Scott, is you don't really have to change who you are. You have to change a habit. That's it. Right, Scott is Scott, and everybody wants the real thing, not a social media version. You just have to commit to doing the habit. And really, I don't think you should start doing it every day. I think you need to work your way up to that. I think you need to post 3 times a week. And you need to be committed to a timeline of Sunday night, Tuesday, Friday. And I just put out random days. It could be whatever rhythm, but post consistently at least 3 times a week. We're not changing Scott. We're committing to a new habit. And if we understand that if we commit to a new habit, it gets us one more piece of business every quarter, then we're probably more apt to do it. If I told you, Scott, if you just learned to post 3 times a week, every week for 52 weeks, and you would pick up at least 4 deals a year, would you do it? Because guess what? You can post on Facebook for free. You don't even need to pay for it. Right? We've got some people who pick up all their business off social right now. And that might not be your play because you've got heavy sphere of influence and good database. But social media is a limiting belief. While it's very real, I think it's something you can overcome through consistency and really just showing up as authentically as possible. Right? All right, the second big problem I think is our database and people problem. Okay, so Misty, we'll start with you. How many people do you feel like you've got in your database?
My database is very small. I
Okay.
have about 9 people in there.
Okay. All right, Scott, what about you? How do you feel about your database?
It's disorganized, I have 1,100 people on it, I don't have,
All right, 1,100 people is about 3 times too much.
it's just way too, human volume and have the tag properly.
Okay,
I did eliminate my duplicates, so I didn't do that.
all right. Misty, now we're here 30. Right? How do you have your database organized?
It's in there with names and phone numbers and emails that I have, and it's from my local sphere.
Okay. So you got,
But I don't have the campaign running.
Okay,
That's fine.
sure.
Yeah.
now, are these 30 people who you feel like either could
do a piece of real estate business this year, or they know somebody?
That people are knowing somebody.
Okay.
Most of these people are retired and
Okay,
have had organic conversation.
sure. How often are you meeting or talking to your database?
I'm not, I haven't,
Okay,
yeah.
what's stopping you? Yeah. In what context are we seeing?
Did like dinner, local events.
Yeah.
Like they're that spirit that's, and I'll be honest, it's more or less an art extension of people that are friends with my parents. Because I really don't have a lot of friends. I mean, I moved back home after being gone for 30 years.
So let me ask you this, is there a group of people who you'd like to catch up with?
You mean like that I would know?
Well, or used to know, like. They might actually be acquaintances now more than anything, because you moved back after 30 years.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess I would have to scrub my Facebook and find, like, almost put together a list of a group of people that I would potentially want to connect.
Sure.
My problem is that, and I'm not making excuses, it's just that so many people moved away, I feel like.
Yeah.
That exception, I moved back, not ever.
Sure.
You know, like the people that I was closely friends with in school don't live here, they live away, like away. So I put together a list of the people that I do know, which has turned out to be more of an older demographic that's retired or retiree.
Yeah. So. Sure, well, yeah, and this isn't to make you feel bad, it's. Yeah. You need to talk to more people, but. And what I mean by that is it doesn't always have to be real estate related, it can truly be like, hey. We went to school together, I'm back in town, I moved home to take care of mom or dad and putting down roots. I just wanna get anchored and put, you know, some community together, I'd love to catch up. Would you be available for coffee? And give yourself 30 minutes with that person. You need to do that probably once a week with somebody. Because your challenge with your database, and this isn't a limiting belief. It's purely tied to numbers, the fact is in the math. You need to go from 30 to 100. And your database truly, Misty, I think based upon your goals. Probably is definitely serviceable through 100 VIP people in your database. So when I start thinking about your number is just too small. And so as intentional as we want to be getting the data for the 3 markets you want to go do business in. We need to be equally ambitious and committed to how do I grow my 30-person database to 50 in the next month? And then how do I, over the next 2 months, take my 50-person database to 100? And the only way you're going to do that, Misty, is through some phone calls, through some more networking stuff. You know, you're going to do things in the community just because you have a life and you have hobbies. If you continue to approach those things, but in the back of your mind start asking the question, okay, I go to this festival, or I go to the weekly farmers market. I want to get in touch and befriend at least two of these vendors at this farmers market this week. And the reason why I want to do that is I want to promote their business as I start to grow my business. Right? So this butcher or this farm has locally local beef. And it's a good product, I wanna promote it and. I wanna tell people about it and I'm gonna do that as Misty Wyrick, the Realtor. And there'd be some benefit to that, right? But also you wanna get to know people in your community. So. The other people in your database can also be local banks, local lenders, local home inspectors. Anything that's real estate adjacent, by the way, need to be in your database. You need to be consistent with meeting or calling. Like Dana Clayton is a good call every month. Hey Dana, wanted to check in, you're the in-house lender here at Keller Williams Commonwealth. What do I need to know about the markets? What do I need to know what the Fed's gonna do? What do the rates look like? What are the loan products? What questions am I not asking that I should be asking that other realtors are asking that you feel are great questions? And then you need to do that with your second choice lender and your third choice lender. And you need to be committed to having those conversations because what's going to happen is you're going to become a market and information expert quicker. They're going to refer business potentially to you. And then you're going to get better and more confident in the conversation around what your actual value proposition is as an agent. And if you can get married to that, then you're going to be confident in having any other real estate conversation in Moorhead, in Winchester, and in Mount Sterling. So Misty, your 30 number is just too small. We've got to figure out how in the next 3 months can we go from 30 to 100. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to add basically 2 people a day over the next couple months. And over 3 months, it's less than that. Right? And so it's basically 1 person a day. What's 1 person who I can reach out to, Facebook message, call, meet at the farmer's market, meet at Kroger, whatever it is. How can I continue to meet people, have conversations, add them into my database? And you're gonna like, I think you're involved at the chamber, is that true?
Yeah, yeah.
You need to, number one, keep doing that. But then from that, you need to have other conversations about, okay, this person is really well networked here, but they're also really well networked in Mount Sterling. And strategically, I know I want to do more business in Mount Sterling. How can I walk in the footsteps they've already created? Right?
Yeah.
So your goal from a database / people problem is 30 people is just too small to get the business I think you want to get, right? I think we both agree there.
For sure, and I've been hesitant to put, because I have a lot of other contacts from the chamber and from the nonprofit that I support.
Yeah.
I haven't even put any of them in there. Again, maybe that whole mindset thing of the, like it's, the list is too big. Like my business plan is too big. It's too big.
Okay, so here's what you and I need to do. We need to actually have a one-on-one. So I'm gonna make a note here. I already kind of knew that based upon limiting belief conversation. But we need to, and it's really not a limiting belief. It's just we need more information. You will believe more once you have the actual data to have a real, I think, opinion, right?
Like the lack of knowledge, the lack of confidence is from lack of knowing the numbers.
100%.
And when I have the confidence, I'm more believing.
Of course.
I'm not afraid at all. Like,
Misty, you and literally every other person on the planet operate that way, so it's completely normal. Some masks get better than others, right? You're gonna have people who are extrovert and I mean, let's be real, fake it until they make it. But generally, you will gain confidence when you are prepared, when you know the numbers, the data, the information. And if you're in a sense of overwhelming analysis paralysis because you've got, by the way, a well-thought-out plan, it's just overwhelming, and it keeps you in that freeze mode You just need simple steps and simple supports of accountability. So what feels right to me is add those professional contacts into your database. Tag them as industry partner, tag them as whatever it is you need to tag them or referral partner. You're going to send them your real estate stuff, but they're going to get a different messaging, right? So you're gonna create 3 graphics. You're gonna send something to your buyer clients, you're gonna send something directed towards your seller clients, then you're gonna send something directed towards your vendor or your preferred partners. And at that point, you're providing value, they're going to appreciate whatever information they're getting. It might be a community newsletter that you send out to all 3. What I'm saying is, when you tag and qualify the people in your database really well, you're not gonna send everybody the same thing. You're not gonna do a blanket blast on stuff. And so you can get real intentional, and in return, you'll get what you want from your database. So what you want is those professional contacts to subscribe, because they're gonna get community updates, which they find really beneficial. But those people are gonna think, oh my gosh, I just got this email from Misty about the new restaurant going in over here in the spot in Moorhead. And I just had this conversation with my sister, she's looking for a house to buy closer to me. And she's moving in from out of state, I need to give Misty a call. Right? That's what you're gonna pick up from putting those people in your database, tagging, you're casting a wider net. Your 30 people who are a mix of your parents' friends aren't big enough, right?
Yeah.
And I would imagine they're probably local to Moorhead. So we know we've got a strategy to get into Winchester and Mount Sterling. So who do you know there? I live in Winchester. I have a downtown nonprofit in Winchester. I have a business opening up in Winchester. My whole life, outside of my current job, is in Winchester. It's where my wife works, where we're raising our kids. If you need information on Winchester, you got a guy who can help, right? And so you should absolutely leverage me in getting traction and momentum in Winchester, right? All right, Scott, you have the opposite problem, where you got a bloated database that I think you probably need to clean up. And while Misty has a race from going to 30 to 100, I actually think you got a race backwards from 1100 to 600. And what I mean by that is the 600 are going to be people that you need to focus on. Because based on what I know about you, I think your income goal or what you want to accomplish, and having the harmony of being a successful real estate agent, being able to travel, do the things you want. 1100 is too many. Like, you're not going to maintain an 1100 person database, Scott. You don't have time and you're not doing it now. Right? So why don't we plus out our database and do some addition by subtraction? You need to get to 600. You've got people who are just in your database that have no business being in your database. They're either too far out, some of them are probably moved out of state. There's just 1100 is too much. Because what I can promise you is, you can do the amount of business you want to do with 600. It's definitely more manageable. And not only that, is you can be way more intentional. If you got in and did some more database cleanup and dropped it to 600 people, and you might actually find, I want to go down lower. Bo said it the other day, Peter Chabris, the #1 agent in our ecosystem of 4 market centers, he has 175 people in his database. Now they're VIP, but they know people that know people that know people. That's all you've got to do, is you've got to find the resource, the connectors, the movers and shakers in communities, and then add your personal sphere. So your personal sphere plus the people of influence that you want in your corner, that's who you need to make up in your database. and this, I again, don't wanna sound harsh, everybody in your database is important, Scott. The reality is you are one person. And there's absolutely no way you can service 1,100 people.
I have, ran some ads and people would touch on whatever I'm pushing and that they throw their name in there, and that's how. It's
Yeah.
popular.
And that's great. Are you qualifying those people? So you've got a lead intake system that seems to be working. It's your follow-up on qualifying those leads that are coming in through that funnel that needs some work. Because here's what I'm gonna tell you. Half of those are probably spam. So you could probably just kick those, if you had time to qualify them. You're kicking those to the curb, and then you're taking, it's like when you go sift for gold. Right? You're gonna put a bunch of dirt, sediment, and hopefully gold into this basket, you're gonna shake up the basket. In the water, all the sediment, the dirt, everything's gonna clear out except for the gold. But we gotta think about our leads that way, we gotta think about our database that way. You, in maybe a similar way to Misty, your overwhelm isn't as much on the limiting belief side as it is. You've got a loaded database that you are currently feeling bad about not maintaining at a high level.
That's right.
And the truth is it should just be smaller. Because you could be far more intentional with the same amount of success, dealing with less people, qualifying less people, being more intentional with less people, and getting the same outcome. Right?
Yep.
And that's not to say we're not gonna go to an open house and put new people in our database. But you're gonna scrub them, you're gonna qualify, you're gonna get them on a 30, 60, 90-day qualification. All right, is this buyer or seller gonna close in 30 days? Yes, all right, they're in there, they are tagged as an A buyer. Is this seller gonna be ready to list within 2 months? Absolutely. 45 days is the benchmark, so they are a B seller. All right, I got a buyer about 3 months out, they're having a baby. They want to get that first month under their belt. Then they're going to get more serious about doing those 2 projects in order to list their starter home to buy their next home. So they're 3 months out. Buyer C. Are we qualifying our database at that level? Doing that with 1,100 people every quarter is too much work. For one person.
Too much for 2 people.
So what I'm going to tell you is your opportunity to go get 10 listing appointments absolutely exists in an 1,100 person database, but they also absolutely exist in a 600 person database. You cover seemingly half of the state of Kentucky based upon where your listings land. You're out in Eastern Kentucky, you're in Central Kentucky, you might have even gone north or south. Your radius, I think, might also be too big.
I agree with that,
Because you've become a road warrior,
I wanna tighten that up.
right? And so you've got a decision, well, where do I want to spend my time? Do I want to spend my time 3 to 4 hours a day in going from this listing to this listing, back to the office? Or do I want to have a smaller radius? And if you want to have a smaller radius, then that tells you what numbers do I need to know to shrink my radius to get the same return that I want. And so I apologize, we're a little under an hour into this training and we're just getting to the handout. Misty, I'll email you this handout, it's 15 pages, it's a template. And there's gonna be stuff on it you like, there's gonna be stuff on it you're not gonna do, and that's okay. What I'm going to tell you is, this is a 13-week. Very detailed action plan, so week 1, this is your first 7 days. We're putting in the foundation and we're launching our initiative to go get listings. And your goal doesn't have to be 10. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 3, maybe it's just 1 a month. That's okay. Have a goal that I'm going to get intentional about going to secure a listing a month. or 3 over the next 3 months. So week 1 is about foundation and launch. We're gonna get our mindset right. Because real estate is heavy on the mindset. We're not motivated. We're not gonna go do the work. And then we're gonna schedule, we're gonna time block, we're gonna build in intentional time to lead gen. Misty, for you, it's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be at the chamber event. It might not be cold calling. It probably will be less cold calling and more Facebook messaging, Facebook posting, meeting people for coffee, meeting people at the chamber. Scott, for you, similar thing. You might pick up the phone and decide I'm gonna go through some FSBOs and expires. Misty, you can also do that, but I also don't know that that's going to be what you enjoy doing. And so don't kill yourself doing something you don't enjoy to go win and get some momentum, like the opposite tends to happen. If we go do the thing we don't enjoy doing and we fail at it, our mindset's off. We deplete our energy, and then we're demotivated, and then we don't hit our goals, and then we're in overwhelm, and then we don't know what to do next. Right? And so get your mindset right every day. I don't know what it takes for you individually, but what do you need to do to get your mind in the frame of here's what I'm going to do today. Here's my task, my goal, my one thing every day. Your one thing every week is to set a listing appointment, but your one thing every day might be different. My one thing today, believe it or not, is to go to the chiropractor. I hurt my back this weekend wrestling with the kids. I'm working today, but my one thing today, priority, is that I've got a chiropractor appointment at 3. And I'm committed to hitting that appointment and not missing it. My secondary priorities is showing up as team leader, teaching trainings, and delivering for Scott and Misty. And I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to do it. Right? So tomorrow, it'll probably be setting some appointments, making some hires, doing stuff like that. So getting our mindset and our schedule right. Misty, we kind of already hit this with you earlier, but also week 1 on this action plan template is we're going to blitz our sphere.
Okay.
We're going to hit our sphere with something of value, right? And Misty, you might be strategic on, okay, here is what half of my sphere would be interested in. I'm going to make a post or send a message to these 15 people who are interested in the car show coming to town. Right? And then you're going to put your branding on it. So maybe it's an email, maybe it's a post, a flyer, and it's got your stuff on it. But you're going to blitz your sphere. You're going to let them know, hey, this is my name, here is my business, and I'm open for business. And you're going to attach that to a piece of value. Misty, for you, it might truly be like, here are my top 10 Moorhead vendors on the home side. Here's the gutter guy, here's the landscaper, here's the roofer, here's the HVAC person, here's the plumber. And you just go door knock a neighborhood and say, here's my top 10 vendors in Moorhead. And you pass that out to 30 people. We're blitzing our sphere, we're blitzing our community. We're gonna work on marketing prep. Right? We're gonna think, okay, what do we want to do on social? What do we want to do in regard to our listings? What do we want to do to promote our brand and my business as a realtor? What is my message? Do you have a mission statement? Right? I'm Scott McKenzie, and my whole mission is to provide the best experience for a home buyer or home seller in Central Kentucky. Your mission can be that simple and that broad, but it can be used to drive your brand and your marketing. And then we're going to set a target. By the end of week 1, what do we want to accomplish? Right? What are some attainable goals, some small wins that we can stack to build momentum to keep at it going into week 2? If I knew that I could accomplish this in week 1 of my action plan, it would then commit me or give me the motivation and energy to carry into week 2. So if I felt, okay, if I'm you, Misty, if I can add 5 people to my database in the next 7 days. I'm probably gonna stack those wins and feel really motivated going into week 2 to continue my strategy, right? Scott, for you, it might be this week, I'm gonna clean out 150 people out of my database. Week 1, that's a target for me. I'm going to do 2 things. I'm gonna clear out 150 people in my database because it's bloated, and I'm going to post on social media 3 times this week. And if you check those 4 boxes, we're gonna make 3 posts and we're gonna take 150 people out of our database. If you were to hit all 4 of those, do you think you'd be motivated into week 2 of your action plan? We're gonna stack another win, right? Then we get into week 2 and we've got to figure out what's my target in week 2. All right, now I'm making calls. I'm following up and building on what I did in week 1. And my whole goal here is I'm going to have 2 coffee appointments with people in my sphere, and I'm gonna catch up, they're gonna know I care about them. And by the end of the conversation, I'm just going to remind them I'm in real estate, and if they know anybody that needs help, to think of it. That's week 2 goal, right? And then what does week 3 look like? And what do I need to do in week 3 to keep me going and keep my momentum into week 4? Right? We're building, we're doing things. It's mindset, it's energy, it's the activities. The limiting beliefs are gonna be there. What undoes the limiting belief is being prepared, knowing our numbers, having confidence. And what helps our database is our activities, our commitment to consistent activities. So when it comes to this 90-day action plan for going out and getting listings, whether it's 10, 3, 5, 7, 8, 20, we're going to commit to a 12-week plan. And you've got a 15-page, 12-week plan in your hand, Scott. Ms. Deal, it'll be in your email. And you're just going to adapt it to your process. Miss C, we're racing to 100 people on our database. Scott, we're racing to drop it to 600. And then on the limiting belief side, it's just, we're getting more confident. We're knowing the market data, the market numbers. We're tracking 3 or 4 numbers and 3 or 4 markets. And we're owning those numbers. And then we can have conversations in confidence, right? Because we know how to do real estate. We know how to put a contract together, right? We got to get rid of the limiting belief, and we have to fix our database/people problem. That's it. Misty, you got any questions?
No, I'm gonna be, I guess, emailing you to get on your calendar.
Yeah. We can do that in person or we can do it on Zoom. It doesn't matter to me. We'll have the same conversation either way.
Hey, Misty?
Yeah.
Just quick, I'll take advantage of this. I'm looking for a cabin in Wellington. Close to the lake, if you've got anything coming, or if you see something of interest.
I'll be on the lookout.
About 200, about up to 200, up to 210.
Okay.
Anyway,